We are presenting this petition today on behalf of the 7,603 people from Grove West Green and the wider Haringey community, as the LTNs are having a huge impact on all our day-to-day lives. You claim these LTNs will reduce pollution and create a safer, cleaner area to live in, but this is not the case, as anyone that has to live, work, drive, cycle, walk, or take a bus will know. All our roads are now blocked with traffic 7 days a week, filling our roads and lungs with pollution from idling cars. This has increased, not decreased, as you predicted. Roads are now unsafe even for cyclists who are opting to use the pavements instead of the roads, putting pedestrians at risk. Our roads are narrow, unlike other boroughs or cities, and just can't handle the increased volume of traffic alongside buses and emergency services. Another example of this is when we have events at Tottenham Stadium, or there has been an incident where roads have been closed. All roads have become gridlocked with no escape for road users, and access for emergency vehicles has become hindered. This is detrimental to the whole community and puts our lives at risk. This leads me to the increase in pollution on our roads, especially the boundary roads where traffic has now been forced. This is hazardous to not only the residents, but also schools, cyclists, businesses and pedestrians that use them. Do these people not matter to you? Well, they do to us. And Ella's law also states clean air for all. We and our children should not be used as laboratory animals, putting our lives in danger for a trial experiment. The same goes for our local businesses that are vital for the community. They've managed to survive COVID, but are now being put on trial again by you. Many are not going to survive, and many have already had to close due to 20 to 80% drop in trade since the LTs were implemented. Tradespeople with heavy equipment are struggling to make a living due to lost time stuck in traffic and difficulties accessing properties and local trade shops, all adding to extra costs in fuel and time. So they are now choosing not to take the jobs or are increasing their rates. Taxis, food and medical deliveries are also doing this, which are vital to the people in our community who rely on these services, especially those disabled or suffering from anxiety or mental health issues. They are now isolated and unable to live a healthy life. Not everyone has a dedicated driver. Some people have no one. They are also unable to get to health appointments or return home. At times, vulnerable people, including children, have been left stranded on the wrong side of the filters, making them feel degraded. Therapists, midwives and all other medical staff who are vital to our community have a daily list of patients they are booked to see across this borough and the next, but now might only be able to get to half the amount of people due to the LTN traffic and filters, increasing NHS waiting times when all services are already under extreme pressures and delays. Exemptions might sound great, but you have made it so complicated that not all that need them will be able to get them. And for those that do, the reality is they don't actually help, as all the other roads are full of traffic. Therefore, healthcare workers, parents of children with complex needs, disabled in excruciating pain and people suffering anxiety are still stuck in traffic, sometimes for hours. This is not okay. Some may have already died due to the LTNs, and with the emergency services being delayed, sadly more will die if we allow this trial to continue. Carers and families of vulnerable, elderly and disabled are now not able to get to their loved ones to care for them or visit them regularly without sitting in excessive traffic, which is having a massive knock-on effect to not only the vulnerable, but also the carers' lives and jobs. In fact, LTNs are having a huge negative effect on everyone's mental health at an already stressful time, and the cost of living crisis causing an increase in suicidal thoughts, self-harm, domestic violence, child abuse, neglect and anxiety within the community. Many people are also now apprehensive about leaving their homes, which is isolating many, especially women, for fear of attacks or antisocial behaviour. Teenagers are going through some of the hardest years of their lives, full of change, exams, fear of drugs, gangs, knives and their future. Do they need more invisible lines with gang lines and county lines? The answer is no. Parents have already lost their jobs due to not being able to do school runs and get to work, and many more will have the same fate. You are pushing working families into poverty. So we want the LTNs to be removed now, as we really feel Haringey is failing in the safeguarding of some of the most deprived areas in the borough. Why you would even bring LTNs into such areas is very questionable, as many feel they never had an issue with traffic before LTNs, but now everyone is affected by LTNs, be it physically, emotionally or financially. The community is slowly being destroyed by them. The daily stress and financial strain is unbearable at a time when people are already struggling with the cost of living. End Haringey's LTNs now. We have been saying this constantly and feel you have not been listening or communicating to the community individually or as a whole throughout the entire LTN process. For example, not allowing the public into council meetings on more than one occasion. You are our council and you should be representing the people that voted for you. This is not a dictatorship. So please listen to the community and the 7,603 respondents to this petition. We do not agree with the LTN implementation and we want them removed now.